Hey everyone, today we're going to Long Pond in Benton, New Hampshire to do an update on the brand new dam they just built. We were up here last fall taking a look at the old dam before they demolished it. Honestly, the old dam didn't even look that bad. I've seen other ones still in operation that have rebar sticking out of it everywhere. This one, visually, it did not look very bad at all. Not much damage to it. But anyways, they had it completely drawed back so you could walk around the entire reservoir bed where it wasn't too muddy. Pretty awesome. I'm going to mix in some of the old clips and alright, we'll be there in a few miles. It's nice and green out. It's Memorial Day weekend, almost June. Here we are, Long Pond picnic area. Now this place, they do have a box where you drop money if you're going to be kayaking or spending any time at the picnic area. We don't need to do that because it's raining out. I bet we might be the only person up there, maybe a couple fishermen. We're only going to be there for like 10 minutes. There's not enough time for a park ranger to put a ticket on the car for not paying it, because we're not actually using it. Alright, we're back up here. Pretty rainy day. Got a few people fishing out here in the rain. If it was a good day, there'd be a lot of kayakers since it's a Sunday. Looks like they repainted the docks. I could tell they were running out of paint. They didn't complete it, but it's definitely new paint on the top since last time I was out here. And those bridges over here look like they were repainted. But we were back out here last fall. They completely drained the reservoir so they could rebuild the dam. We're gonna go check out what they did. We were able to walk around in here. The mud dried up enough so you could walk around as it was starting to crust over. This reservoir is not deep at all. I'd say when we were walking around in there, 10 feet's the deepest spot, and that's where the river artery is. The river artery was going, it was kind of cool, twisting back and forth. It was moving so slow, could have even kayaked up that. Great place to spot moose, since the water is, in most cases, only a few feet. A lot of aquatic plants, lots of beavers out there, tons of coves. Today is Saturday, September 19th. We're here to check out Long Pond, and their road is closed again. Yep, that little dock there usually has 2 feet of water under it. Amazing. There's 2 more docks right there fishermen are usually at. There's basically empty. Alright, let's go check out the dam. They haven't put the gate back here yet. Back in the fall, they weren't allowing anyone up here during construction. Had to park at the gate a mile down. Tried coming up here a month ago, but it was still mud season and they weren't allowing vehicles up on the road yet. And that would have been like a 4-mile walk. Decided not to do it. Today I was able to drive all the way up here. Let's see, they are planting new grass. And you're gonna have a gravel trail just like before. Got some birdhouses over there. Looks like it was maybe hit by the excavator. It's a little crooked. Yeah, this is definitely a brand new paint job. Definitely. Probably not the best paint, unless someone was sitting there chipping it off. Definitely has been painted. Let's go see what they did with the dam. Yeah, right here off to the left is where they brought the excavator down. You can still see part of the road. You see they built a road. They've been driving excavators down. I could see somebody's deep, muddy footprints. How's it going? All right. Yeah, the entire slice gate's definitely new. This dam isn't even topping, is it? Sandbags everywhere. What are they up to? They dug this area out. Here's a grate, just about rusted through. They've been running excavators down here. They have the discharge open completely. Check that out. Nothing going over the dam. I remember you used to be able to kayak right up to the dam because it wouldn't be spilling over the wood. It would be like trickling under it where they'd keep it. So there wasn't ever a chance of you going right over. Look at that big silt filter going across. Real interesting. All right here I see, you can just lift this thing up, get a look inside. Look at that. They have those pieces of wood there because if they removed it and drained this down completely, that's a lot of sediment that it's going to start eroding. And they don't want that downstream. It's just way too much. So that's why they kept a few of them here. Normally, they'd have wood stacked up to the top. There's not a single person up here, no workers. There's one other car down there, and we passed them on the way up. So she can run around free. There's nobody else up here. Let's go check out the silt filter. All right, let's look around. They still have some of the silt filters up as the grass is slowly gonna grow back. No trickle yet. What you're seeing is just groundwater. The dam is not topping, but as you can see from the spring thaw, riverbed's pretty big. They had a little dam down here to collect any sediment from the construction site from earlier. Yep, not topping. Everything is replaced on the dam. This dam wasn't even as bad as some of the others in the area, but yet they replaced it. Oh yeah, it is topping. I guess it's just dry out. I can see a tiny bit of trickle right there. You can see they filled a bunch of the cracks. Let's go look at the discharge. I don't really like what I'm seeing there. That's not high quality concrete. At least they plugged the holes for the rebar. Kind of looks rushed. The old culvert must have been rotted out, so they put a new one in with grout. Looks good. Yeah, that's a slice gate. Not a butterfly valve like I thought it might have been. Look at all the stuff that's here. There used to be the pieces of wood going across the top, which was good because the water would pass underneath all that. And if you were in a kayak, it's impossible to go over, but now it is. They brought one of the biggest machines they have out here to fix this. Hopefully it'll be back open for kayaking. I guess you could still go kayaking. And it might even be fun to go kayaking now, but you'd have to carry your kayak all the way up the mile-long road. Be easy if you have one of the wagons, just wheels that go on the back while you lift the front. Because if you put a kayak in here now, it's not moving very fast. You could probably still get to the end of it just going up the river. Yeah, over here is a whole bunch of moose tracks as they travel around this dam instead of actually going through the deep water. Everything here on the bottom, that's all original concrete. The sides are original concrete, but you see it's topping a little bit. That's what the trickle is. So this side of the dam is lower. It's not completely even because you see you got the trickle here, but no trickle down there. This right here is a sign of cheap concrete, all that pitting there. There was little water bubbles when they were pouring it. That means they use really watery concrete. And the best concrete, they should have had molds and they should have been tamping it in, packing it. That would literally last forever. That's how a lot of the older dams survive. I think this will show issues in a few years because you see, poured concrete, especially in this situation, will cause damage after a few years. But I shouldn't say a few years, a few decades. While if it was tamped, it would last well over 100 years. Now this right here, I like what they did there. That's one really heavy duty pipe. The old one must have been, and you can see the old one, it probably had holes rusted right through it, so they put a slightly smaller one in with grout. That's awesome. And this stream on a normal day is so small. This discharge was handling the entire thing in the fall when we were here. And on the other side, they only had it open partially, so it wouldn't drain all the silt. They just wanted it not to be held up. They used sandbags to hold back and make a temporary dam. Oh, wow, I love these little guys. Look at him. Look at him. Yeah, this place, I remember going swimming here when I was a kid. These things would be everywhere. There's a third one in the water there. I bet they're all over in these pools if I look carefully. Now, I don't think they tore down the entire hill here. I think it's just disturbed from machines going back and forth. But there's definitely leakage through the hill. It might plug itself, but that's what this water is here. We'll come take a look at that again in the future. Because usually on a dirt dam like this, that's the very beginning signs of failure when you have this little trickle going through it, because it'll keep making channels the bigger and bigger. But as you can see, it's not dirty. If it was dirty, that would be cause of concern, but it's not. Tons of water plants grow here, and the moose can walk out there like up to their knees eating all the plants. Right here's the boat ramp. Yep, that big crack there as it slowly slides out into the mud. We're actually going to go for a little hike around the edge of this as far as we can. This rock right here shows you about how deep it would normally be. Just the tip would be sticking out. You can see all the water lines trickling, making that a little erosion. I can see it trickling. We can't get across this. The mud right there would probably be up to my waist. In order to get over here, we'd have to walk into the woods around and back out. Check this out. Here's a little rock wall. Might have been built by people, might have been built by beavers. That's something I recently discovered. Beavers build rock walls. Made it out pretty far to the little tiny trickle. If I take one more step, I'd be way up to like my knees. I made it out here by hopping on all these rocks. These rocks look tiny, but they're massive underneath. Look at this. Somebody, looks like they just pushed the sign out of the way and just drove up here anyways. Oh, we're on the other side now. Check out right there, the water line. All the mud. That's a beautiful shot. Look at the water line. Can I make it back across like I did before without getting wet? Whew, foot went in the water, but it was fast. Didn't get anything in the shoe. Oh, almost made that one. I crossed that like 3 times today. I made that one every single time but now. Means I'm getting tired. It's time to go. Alright, I hope that was interesting. It's pretty chilly out today. It's only 40 something degrees, and that's pretty chilly for almost being June. This entire road was actually closed for 3 years a little while back because that little river that's leaving the reservoir actually overwhelmed the culvert, and it took them 3 years to fix it because it wasn't on the priority list. But the good thing is, this is New Hampshire. That dam, the old one, didn't even look like it needed to be replaced. But obviously they found something and they replaced it because they have a huge budget up here for that kind of infrastructure. Now, the old one, I honestly think, I didn't see anything visual. There could have been stuff underneath it. They obviously found something wrong, giving them a reason to replace it. But I know the old one was probably built better. This one was they used really loose concrete that they probably got out there with a cement truck with a pump. They were using hoses to get it out there, and that kind of flowable concrete is not very strong at all, especially around water. That's why you see all those little pits I was pointing out, and you could even see new cracks in the concrete. Those pits are there because those water trapped in the mold. That's why that was left there. The concrete was so loose, some of the water was able to separate. Okay, so basically what happens when you pour concrete, a bunch of water will appear on the surface, the leakage. Basically that leakage happened against the mold, and that's what the bubbles are there from. It was extremely wet concrete. Back in the day, everything was built mostly with tamping the concrete with barely any water. The less water in a concrete mix, the longer it's going to last. But it's very time consuming. It's amazing that dam was replaced that fast. Because I don't know if they did it this spring or they did it in the fall, but I know as of October the old dam was there and they had a bunch of machinery ready. I know they didn't do it in the winter. That's not suitable weather. But regardless, it was done in like 2 months, and that's amazing work. Well, the new one, it visually looks fine, and structurally, we'll see. And back there, I'm just being honest. A lot of people don't like when I'm honest and give negative inspections on certain things. That is definitely built to code. It passed some inspection for them to be able to fill that thing back up. I'm just saying, old dams, the way they were built, they usually lasted longer. old dams back then, because they weren't doing it as long and there wasn't as many inspections, there would be failures for different reasons, not the quality of the concrete. There, I was complaining about the quality of the concrete. That you could tell they put the molding up for the concrete from top to bottom, and they filled it up all at once. And then the leakage of the concrete made all those little gaps. When you pour concrete, it's going to be weak. If you want a very strong structure, you would build a mold that's only like a foot tall, and you'd be tamping in a couple inches at a time, really dry concrete without much water. And that dry concrete, back in the day, they would allow it to cure for a very long time. There's not enough room for me to keep going. The big hole from the culvert. That's nice, the guy let me go. No way we both would have got by this narrow road moving. Something else I was going on about on that dam. They did not re-add the wooden slabs on the top. The old dam had these pieces of wood attached to these metal poles. The purpose of that is, if they wanted to make it higher for whatever reason, they could add these wooden locks in there on the top. That was perfect because the old ones, they were put into place so there was like a 1-inch gap, allowing all the water to pass over the dam and not the wood. That was awesome because a lot of people go canoeing and kayaking there. And for whatever reason, if somebody was kayaking near the top of the dam, the old one would not have let them go over it. The wood would have caught them because the wood was sticking out of the water, allowing the water to pass underneath it. This doesn't have that. That's why you see all those big sticks on the ground. They're all allowed to go over it. Yes, the old dam occasionally needed to be maintained by the Park Service, and they would have to go out there and remove all the junk that would collect on the top of it. I've never actually seen anything collect on there. It's a very stagnant pond. There's not like there's an actual current dragging everything over there. There's barely any current at all. That dam probably took over a month to fill because the stream feeding it's probably almost dead right now because it's been pretty dry out. But for safety reasons, I think that wood should go back up like you saw in the old one. Anyways, at least they fixed it. This state has a huge infrastructure budget for that kind of stuff. And if it does happen to start failing again from being built poorly, they'll just do it again. It's not like some other states that you have to give them a push. This state does everything before the failure happens. That dam looked perfect. But then on the other hand, the same state up at the Connecticut lakes, one of those dams, there's rebar sticking out of it everywhere. It's just in horrible condition. Hope this video was interesting. Thanks for watching.